Hello, everyone, and welcome back to FFT Elifpad. My name is Esther, and happy International Women's Day. So, in honor of IWD 2022, Break the Bias, we would be learning from a woman in tech, somebody that has made a huge career shift. She'll be telling us how she did the shift, lessons to learn, the career bias she has faced, and every other thing you would love to know. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy my interview with her. She'll be introducing herself to us shortly. And if you didn't know, around the world on March 8th, women around the world are celebrated for their contributions to society. I am so excited about it. Number one, I am proud to be a woman, and I'm also inspired by the stories of other women across the globe that are breaking the bias in their everyday lives and the men that are supporting them. Without further ado, let's get to meet my guest for today. And she goes by the name Chidumga Izizu, the very delectable and intelligent engineer.
Hi, Esther.
Thank you, Chidumga. Thank you for agreeing to do this with me. So good to have you
Thank you,
here.
Esther. Thank you. So my name is Chidumga Izuzu. I'm a software engineer with Cisco. I work with Cisco's Emerging Technologies Incubation, and so it's basically like an innovation team. Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting. So let's hear your story. What spurred your move into tech, and like what background are you where you coming from?
So I studied mass communications in my bachelor's, and it's nothing like when you talk about what spurred me, it wasn't like this gigantic decision or something. So I had to move for a reason to the US, and one of the best opportunities or one of the career switch that would have made life easier for me here would be like switching to tech. Um, so I decided to like make that switch. Initially, I wanted to still get like all my life, like after my bachelor's, what I wanted to do was get a master's in public relations and advertising, maybe from the UK. That has always been my dream. And along the line, it changed from that to getting a master's or a training or whatever in a film school somewhere in Europe. But then that didn't actually go as planned. And so here I am
In tech.
working as a software engineer. Yeah.
Engineer. So in your life, you never imagined that you would end up as a software engineer.
No, no. Actually, fun fact, when I was in secondary school, right after my junior secondary school exam, they would actually put you in a class that they think you would do well in. And they put me in a science class and I refused. I
Wow.
think I spent like 2 weeks there and I did maths, I did further maths, physics, chemistry, and I was like, no, I'm not doing this. My dad tried to change my mind, like, oh, you can't do it. And I was like, I'm struggling. I can't actually do it.
And
So
here
yeah,
you
I
are today.
wasn't part of my career path or my life plans. Yeah.
That's interesting. So it also goes to show that sometimes the way we think we have our life planned out is not actually how it pans out, but we shouldn't be
Mm-hmm.
afraid to make the
Mm-hmm.
switch either ways. So
Yeah.
tell us, how then did you make the switch? What were the
Um,
processes you went through? Were there some trainings you took? All of those things.
so personally, back in Nigeria, I didn't exactly take any trainings. But when I got to the US, of course, because my background is actually different, I had like a couple of prerequisites to be able to take to fit in properly. And then personally, I don't think you can make that kind of career switch by just depending on whatever you're taught in class. So personally, I had to like go through a couple of trainings on my own. There are a lot of resources out there for people to like utilize. There is Udemy, there is Coursera, and so I had to like put in the extra work and go through like personal trainings to be able to comfortably go through the whole switch and the whole process.
Um, let's talk about bias. Do you think there is bias, like gender bias in tech? And are there any bias that you've encountered personally?
I i haven't encountered any bias personally at my workplace. I work in a company that they try as much as they can to be inclusive and diverse. um but of course I am not going to say that there are no gender bias. It exists. It's something that exists, and I've actually come across a lot of people talk about it. Like maybe they don't have a lot of women in their teams. They don't have like that balance in their workspace. But personally, I haven't actually like encountered like the negative kind of bias. I know that I've had people be maybe curious when they hear that I made a switch. And like, okay, what's that? Tell us about that. But in a bad way, I haven't really encountered any sort of bias
Yes.
in my workplace, but it does exist. And I think a lot of companies are currently trying to like strike that balance and be as inclusive as they can be. But then there's still a lot of work to be done.
You don't,
Yeah.
yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. And I think women also need to take the bold move and understand that truly what a man can do, if they put their mind to it as well, they can do it. Thank
Yes.
you. So let's talk about your background in mass communication and you switching to tech. Do you think your background is in somewhat in a way relevant, or you think it has just been a complete waste of time based on kind of work you do currently?
So I don't think any knowledge acquired is a waste of time. It would definitely come in handy at a point. And for me, working as a writer or as a journalist for like over 4 years was like I acquired a lot of skills that have been helpful rather in my current workspace. For instance, working as a writer had to do with me being creative. I had to come up with ideas. I had to be innovative, for lack of a better word. Like when I tried to like check the two or like place them side by side. So I had to like come up with ideas and create things. And working as a software engineer, you're solving problems, you're creating solutions. It's just a different type of you being creative. So like you're still bringing in
The
that
creative side of you.
creativity, yes, into like a different tech space. You're solving problems. Like in the media world, you're like coming up with content to entertain people, but you're still coming up with something. But like in the tech industry, you're coming up with solutions to like problems. And also, working as a writer, you have like deadlines, you have like when your content is expected to be ready. And also like working as a software developer, you also have like let's say you're having like a sprint, a 2 week sprint or whatever, like you have like this period of time to like deliver. So whatever kind of discipline that you put into creating your content as a writer would also come in handy as a software engineer. Also, thankfully and luckily for me, I also get to like document things that I work on here with
That's
Cisco.
okay.
So I get to like work, you're encouraged to like write about things. And I like writing. I
Mm.
worked as a writer for like over 4 years. And also I hate it when I go online to find a solution to something that I'm working on and I don't see anything that can help me. So as much as I can, it's something I just started, but I would love to like document like my process, solutions to problems I find that can be general knowledge and just put it out there. So like studying mass communication has been helpful. I had like things that I had to bring it from there to this current job role. Yeah.
That's interesting to know. One would think like from arts to sciences, but what I'm getting right from here is no knowledge is wasted at all.
No.
There's no knowledge that is a waste. It depends on how you apply yourself. Thank you so much for that. So let's talk about some of the personal attributes that you think you possess that have aided your transition into tech.
I don't know how to give up.
Okay.
I don't know how to give up. I remember when I was working with Pulse Nigeria, that was where I worked before I moved. I would probably stay up until like 3 a.m. trying to get my story right. I probably write up until 3. And I mean, I don't think it's actually like always a good thing to not be able to rest. But I know that is a trait that has helped me like in my current role. Back then, I would probably write up until 3 a.m., shut my laptop, and then maybe like 4:30 I'll
Yeah.
remember something that I think I probably should have added, and I'll go back to add because I want it to
Wow.
actually be good. And when I made the career switch, honestly, there are times that you might ask yourself, who sent me? I mean, who sent me to actually do this? On those days, not knowing how to like quit or not always knowing when to actually quit
Mm.
was very helpful because it just kept pushing me like, okay, you actually have to get this done, you have to keep going. Also, I like to focus on my why. Not to sound like a motivational speaker, but I think knowing your why is actually very important. Why did you make the career switch? Why are you doing what you're doing? What do you want to get out of it? So I think having or knowing the purpose of whatever, why you're actually doing whatever you're doing will keep you going. And I like to work with my why. I like to not forget why I am doing something. And the moment I had an idea of why I wanted to be a software engineer or why I wanted to be in the tech industry, what I wanted to get out of it, it actually helped me like through the process. Yeah.
Oh, that's so good to know. Never give up. A die-hard spirit, basically. So I think you've actually mentioned some of the answers to the question. I don't know. But basically, the next question I want to ask is what does it take in your own experience to have a successful career switch?
One of the okay, first, when you're making a career switch, you have to understand that you're not going to compare yourself with people who probably have a different background
I've been
from
there.
you. Like when you actually make a career switch, you're not going to compare yourself with people who have been doing the same thing like in a long while. You have to give yourself the grace and understand that this is a new territory for you. And then you're going to know that you have to put in the work. It all depends on what you want or how you want to go about what you want. But more often than not, you have to put in the work to get what you want. You have to put in extra work. So you also have to ask questions. Um, I think there is absolutely no harm or there's nothing wrong with asking questions. And asking questions does not mean you're incompetent or that you don't know anything. Ask questions. When you ask questions, you get to find out maybe technologies you could use that will make your life easier or your projects or whatever you're working on easier. You could find out like maybe there are conferences that you need to attend that would actually be very helpful to you. You would find out things like, or let's say you're even stuck while working on something, you don't have to actually go through it alone. Like, you have to like be able to speak up or ask questions. If you're working in a team, there are team members you can reach out. If you're working in school, you probably have friends that you could reach out, and there's nothing wrong with asking questions. Just put in the time, put in the extra effort. There are resources online, there are resources on YouTube, there are free courses on no, I know Udemy on EDX. I remember summer 2020, I had like a long list of courses that I was struggling to complete them. I would turn in like this application, and I think in a couple of days they would approve the free scholarship, and I will start up the project. So there are always like free resources online. Make use of the resources, ask people questions, and just be kind to yourself on days when you get stuff and you feel like, are you sure this is the right career path for me? Just be patient and be kind to yourself. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you so much, Junga. I've really learned a lot from this session. My last question for you today is to give a word of encouragement to young women out there who are at that point where they are trying to decide, do I need to make a switch or do I not? They're basically afraid to make that switch. What would be your word of encouragement to them?
You can actually do it. One of the things that also helped me is that realizing that I'm not the first person to make a career switch. I'm not going to be the last person. There are people who have walked that path before me, and there are people that I have a lot of things to learn from. When I had moved, my roommate back then, she studied law and she was doing her master's in computer information systems. Knowing that there are people who have actually done it is like a lot of encouragement and a lot of push for me to like know that I can actually do it. So for people out there who want to like make career switch, you can actually do it. There is no time that is too late for you. As long as you know why you want to do it, as long as you understand why you want to do it, and that why is very important to you, you can actually do it. Don't let anybody stop you. Don't let anything stop you. Don't let your gender stop you,
Yeah.
or don't let what you think you have to deal with stop you. Like maybe you have your family to take care of, you have your kids to take care of. It's absolutely okay for you to decide to invest in yourself. It's absolutely okay for you to make out time to grow and become whoever you want to become, and make out time like to just make that impact. Just you can do it. Go for it. You will thank yourself years later that you actually went for something that you genuinely want to do. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So basically, ladies, you've heard it. And I think Dunga's story is really very inspiring. Somebody coming from mass communication, being a writer into tech. If she can do it, definitely any one of us can. Dunga, thank you so much for sharing your time with us, for sharing your experience with us today. I really
Thank you,
appreciate this. And I know
Esther.
that a lot of women out there will be impacted by your story. Let's keep breaking the ceiling. Let's keep shattering, all the gender bias that exist in whatever form. Let's keep showing other women and showing the world what we are made of. All right, guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed this interview today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please leave your comments down below Are you also at that point where you're making a switch, or you've made the switch? What has been your experience? I'm sure a lot of people would love to learn from you as well. So until we come your way again next time, stay winning, ladies and gentlemen. Bye.
Bye. Bye.